I am honored to have the opportunity to address this distinguished gathering. It is a privilege to be present among Asia's leading political parties. I am conscious amongst us today are the men and women who will shape the 21st century. Personally, it is a special moment for another reason. 11 years ago, my late mother, Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, represented the Pakistan People's Party at the first international conference of Asian political parties in Manila. Ladies and gentlemen, 11-year-old document that touches on all major issues of our time. It calls for Asian countries to strengthen economic opportunities and cooperation, guard against future financial crises, and establish an Asian monetary fund. This call resonates more deeply today than it probably did in 2000. These words should give us a pause, as Asia is on the brink of a second global recession that is not of its making, barely 3 years after it weathered the first. This should inspire us to build a new, independent financial order for Asia that would enable us to chart our own course in the future. We should also reflect on the first ICAP's appeal to Asian governments to do more to address poverty and economic inequalities. While Asia can be proud of the rapid pace of its economic development, it must ensure that the fruits of this growth are shared out equally amongst its people. Economic development should be for the people and not at the expense of the people. This is only possible by enforcing the highest standards of transparency and accountability in our government and political institutions. Secondly, I feel there is something prophetic about the Declaration's appeal to Asian countries to seek the peaceful resolution of regional disputes and act in unison against transnational crimes. Force alone will not defeat terrorism and extremism, unless it is force tempered with political engagement and economic development. Key to such economic development is poverty alleviation. We in Pakistan have initiated the Benazir Income Support Program. Over 80 billion rupees have been dispersed to 4 million women living in poverty. As you know, Sindh and Balochistan has yet again been inundated by heavy rains and flooding. Millions have been displaced once again, and this has placed an enormous burden on our people. However, we are a resilient nation and we will fully recover, inshallah. Finally, I would like to address what I call the fear factor. As the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, there is a worrying climate of fear developing amongst our friends in the West. It is worrying that some, unable to reach the necessary compromises, instead choose to demonize emerging Asian economic powers. This dangerous short-sightedness could lead to paranoid overreactions with catastrophic consequences. I dread a return to the divided world, a world of cold wars, a world of hot wars, a world of cyber wars, and a world of economic wars. Divide and rule, the politician cries. Unite and lead is the watchword of the wise. We want a united world of equals, not a divided world of rivals. I stand before you. I stand before the world as a son who has lost his mother to the evils of terrorism. I stand before you a son willing to risk my own life to rid my country, my region, and the entire world of this menace. This menace is the mindset that assassinated Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. This mindset poses the greatest threat to the way of life as we know it. My country lies a wounded victim of terror. We don't lack the will, we lack the means. We are neither complicit nor are we incompetent. We lack the capacity to face the world's enemies on our own. At a time of global recession, Pakistan requires sympathy, support, and assistance from the West, we are met with suspicion, accusations, and demonization. This too is a product of fear. We know that drones and raids and unilateral actions are not the answer. Dialogue, deterrence, development, and democracy is the only roadmap to peace. As Asian political parties, we should join hands and reassure our friends in the West. We must make collective efforts to eliminate these unfounded fears. Ultimately, it will require the collective will and joint action of all peace-loving countries of the world to banish these dark forces permanently from our midst. I believe the International Conference of Asian Political Parties is an ideal platform. Before I conclude, I would like to thank our hosts, the Communist Party of China, for their gracious hospitality and for taking the initiative in organizing this conference. China's support for multilateral mechanisms like ICAP reflects its commitment to the cause of peace and stability in Asia and beyond. It is a reflection of China's resolve to work with other countries in pursuit of the larger objectives that affect all of humanity. I am also happy that the conference has afforded me an opportunity to visit China during the Pakistan-China Friendship Year. Our two countries are bound by fraternal and brotherly ties that have stood the test of time. I am glad to have had the chance to make new friends in China and to experience some more of the richness of its astonishing cultural diversity. As ever, I am eternally grateful for the Chinese's continued support and cooperation in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, the International Conference of Asian Political Parties was founded 11 years ago with the noblest of motives and highest aspirations. It is up to us to see that the dream stays alive. Let us use this opportunity to come together and enunciate our vision for the future. I have no doubt that together we can usher in the Asian century. Thank you.